Hey guys, we're back. So, we're gonna do a short stream of Gladius. Last time we finished the Necron game. The one cleared the whole map. I have a game I've been doing off stream while chillaxing, watching some stuff. It's a spectator game where I'm spectating the how the AI do. It's well in progress, but I wanna see what happens. This is the one on pretty much the settings I play. Map is large and difficulty is normal, so nobody has big bonuses. So I want to see how this ends up. I can tell you what's been happening so far. So there are the orcs here. They started here. Space Marines, the blue Space Marines, green orcs. We have the red Necrons. I guess you can call them but I'm not sure what his color is. Other green, different green Astra Militarum, and we have the evil green, red Chaos here. So what's been happening so far is pretty much everybody's been building the stuff, the usual. The Space Marines got mainly infantry. 3 Apothecarians, 2 Orbital Relays, and late Reclusium. The Necrons actually been doing pretty good, mainly also infantry. They got a early expansion here, and they have a damage artifact. As you all know, the Necrons with damage artifact are very powerful, but it's mainly infantry and they don't have the numbers. The craziest thing that's been happening in this game is the Astra Militarum has been AFK for like 80 turns. 80 turns, no expansion, no Manufactorum, just 2 guardsmen and a tech priest engineers. And lately, after that, they started building scout sentinels, basilisks expanded, and even pushing a little here. I haven't shown what the Necrons have. So Necrons have one vehicle building, one production building, and one infantry building. Pretty basic. They haven't been bothering really much about their loyalty. Nobody has bonuses here. This is just normal. And the second city, basically just resources. They're getting more population here. They actually build 3 loyalty buildings here, interesting. 2 loyalties here. I guess this is a bigger city. The Astra Militarum has a Cult Mechanicus for the tech priests and has 3 Manufactorums to recruit vehicles and 1 Shrine of Aquila, so no building for infantry for the Astra Militarum. Chaos has been mainly building a lot of infantry, have been clearing the wildlife. They had a small encounter with the orcs, and now have switched to fight the Astra Militarum. It's kind of surprising they early expanded and they haven't built a 3rd city, and they had a good area here for a 3rd city. What's the weirdest thing? They have a crazy volcanic area and they still build farms, renderers and infantry, and no vehicles. It's a little bit messed up. They had a very nice expansion here next to the ore field and the Prometheum relay pipes, and they didn't take it either. This area is pretty much insane, where you can position a city here. But they've been doing pretty good. A lot of Chaos Cultists and Chaos Spawns, and they've been upgrading their infantry. They've been using Obliterators, all 3 heroes as well. So what they have here, 2 Cults of Chaos for the Chaos Cultists, Chaos Spawns, and Demon Princes. They have 1 hero building, 2 Warp Forges for the production. And the second city, they have Abominator Chin Lab for the Space Marines and 1 Warp Forge. They've been building here a variety of units. Orcs have been stomping, pretty much stomping people. the usual orc early game, cult of speed, make beats yard, and they just overwhelm with a swarm of meg guns, warp buggies, battle wagons, dev copters, even duck jets, while everything is getting repaired and supported by the mechs. They stomped a Tyrannid player here, Tyrannid faction here. Tyrannid like have no chance. They build, I think they had only one city, and once they destroyed the Tyranids, they got the city here, which triggered their fight with chaos. The city here actually is in deep shit because one unit of obliterators, just one unit, is destroying the whole city. And the orcs are busy fighting the Space Marines from backdooring the Space Marines, you can say, which been primarily focused on the Necrons. So it's kind of it went like this way around, the amount of conflict clockwise, and it's hard to say who's going to win. The Space Marines were looking incredible for a while. The Necrons nearly lost this city to Castellan robots. It was a miracle the city survived. And the Astra Militarum is behind, pretty much behind, and there is no way the Astra Militarum is going to win this game. But it's crazy how much they can put out. The edicts are just busted. If you ask me, edicts are busted, and we'll see. So this is a Spectator game. We see the whole map. We see their actions, and at the end of every turn we click have to end turn. Interesting here, the orcs have taken this whole projector. This enslaver just fled with the amount of orcs, how many it was here, and then the enslaver just came back here to retake it. And they've been ignoring it. They also missed an ore field here. I have to say this orc swarm strategy is quite a bit insane in the beginning. If they have a Tyrannid or Astra Militarum neighbor, they're dead. They're dead. Okay, let's end the turn. Space Marines have a very big army, lots of Terminators. No vehicles. No vehicles. They've been primarily using infantry. It is, thank you. It does look like they're gonna be stomping this corner here. There's a Siren Casted loyalty artifact here, loyalty relic. Space Marines have a hollow projector, so have more health. The Necrons have a small army, but they have extra damage. They suffered loss against Space Marines. They have primarily infantry. Necron warriors, immortals, even some Triac Praetorians. The Chaos has tried to engage the Astra Militarum, but taken a loss against the Basilisks. So I think they're gonna pull out. It's very interesting to see the air behavior in this. A unit of obliterators have destroyed a second orc city. That's insane. Insane. I guess they had cover. So this is a large map. There was one of every faction. Tyrannid got destroyed first by the orcs. It was brutal. They didn't stand a chance. Astra Militarum has been AFK for 80 turns pretty much. And so right now the orcs look to be doing the best. The Space Marine is doing fine as well, but they're in the middle of things. Orcs got the best spot on this map, if you ask me. So they lost the second city. Let's see their resources. They have no food, have some ore, some energy, and their VAL level is at level 3. This, when you see orcs have a level 3 VAL, it's either they have too many units or they're not fighting enough. From my experience, all of their units cost influence, and as they fight, they have this ability called Might makes right. They get 3 influence per combat from upkeep factor. So battle wagon attacks, he gets 9 influence. And through that influence, they're building up the VA, which increases the damage. And it's can be quite the game changer. Also, the huge amount of influence they get if they fight non-stop can easily equip their heroes with the best stuff. Because it's not uncommon for orcs to have a couple of thousand of influence. Not uncommon. The Daka Jet is going to get wrecked. They can clear this area as well when they're fighting the Space Marines. Battle Wagons are a little bit crazy once they get all the weapons upgraded. Little bit too crazy. That's a tank. It's a tank inside as a transport, but it gets heavily armed as well. And I can't wait to see what they've done to the rhinos. There's been a patch again, and the rhinos got balanced. You know how it is. The amount of basilisks here is crazy. The Earthshaker Cannon, it's the longest range weapon pretty much in the game, not counting the Hunter Killer missile. And it's anti-vehicle, anti-infantry, anti-squads. It requires no line of sight, but there's a downside: it cannot overwatch. The Basilisk also has a heavy bolter for the short range. Another thing to say, Earthshaker Cannon has a minimal range of 2, so it cannot fire on a short range. So what do the Necrons have? Building Immortals, Tomb Blades. They actually started to produce Tomb Blades. Okay. They have Necron Warriors, some Immortals, Track Praetorians, Tomb Blades Canoptek, Tomb Blades, some more Immortals, Track Praetorians, Necron Warriors. There's a Librarian here, a Captain. Quite a bit of units on the Space Marines here. It's kind of crazy they can have this many. And they still have positive requisitions, 19. The city is looking actually really good. What did they even get at this city? I don't see what they got here. Oh, they got just Ruins of Wall for research. This is pretty much the highest chance to get at the starting city location. You can see one here. This guy's actually got a Shard of Wall. The Chaos got ore field. I mean, they get ore field in volcanic area. That is insane. And they still spam infantry. It's definitely something off with the Chaos. Ore field for the Asa Militarum here. Permutation pool for the second city. This guy's got the influence and Shard of Wall. It's actually really nice. I'm a little bit jelly about this location. It's volcanic, so good for ore. There's a Shard of Wall and the influence outpost. And there's another influence outpost here. And the Necrons, scratch that, man. Necrons got a crazy start here. But they didn't really use it well, same as the Chaos. I think the higher is the difficulty, which increases the loyalty, which increases all the outputs, including production. Not only the faster, but also we're gonna be like the fire odds or reasoning for the AI to actually build other things than infantry. I mean, on this kind of difficulty, I feel like nobody can match. Nobody can match the orcs. Because if you have a high infantry, purely infantry army, how are you gonna kill this shit? There's so much armor. Orcs are pretty much unstoppable at this tier. We'll see how this couple of obliterators will do for the chaos. Obliterator is a heavily armored unit. It's kind of like Terminator or the Mega Nobs. It has 3 entities, and it's a demon, very tanky. Has power fists and cycles between an assault cannon and a heavy flamer. That cycling thing is a downside. Because why the fuck we wanna use a flamer against vehicles later on? Maybe they're open topped. But the power fists do good damage. Sounds like this obliterator weapon cycling should be an advantage, but it's actually disadvantage. I mean, at least they negate the penalty for heavy ordnance weapons. So the wildlife is almost finished. Some in the middle and in the corners. Look at the ore field going to waste. It's not like the orcs need ore. It's not like they need ore. I mean, they need ore for some of this stuff. The battle wagon and the war bugs require ore. And of course, the buildings. This army has quite a bit of experience. It's gonna be hard to beat. If they didn't lose this mobile hull projector, they might have actually just stomped these marines. A couple of Terminators inside the city are really hard to kill. But the Space Marines don't care. They just mind their own business on the other side of the map, and their captain's about to get attacked. They can still produce units here quite reasonably. It does look like it right now, GoldenEye, but I have the worst feeling Astra Militarum will win this game, and it will make no sense. Especially if you've seen the first 80 turns. They were almost got killed by the wildlife, and they were doing nothing. The orcs lost their city, so this is all they have. They can't stomp everybody with this. The army of the Space Marines is actually almost as big as the Orc army. The Orc army is just better suited fighting infantry. Hey, full here. Yeah, looks like the Chaos is gonna have serious issues against Basilisk. Look at the artillery in the back. That's insane. The problem with this much artillery is it's demoralizing, literally. They're gonna lose all morale and they're just gonna all die. They have no units to fight this artillery. I'm gonna play at all, or I wanna spectate here. I wanna finish this this one here. It's been a long day, so just wanna relax. Don't wanna play right now. It's been also super hot, and tomorrow they said it's gonna be even hotter than today. Space Marine City looks really nice. Regarding infrastructure, the orcs are behind. Yeah, the orcs are behind. Necrons are in the best position regarding infrastructure. Oh man, that sounds horrible. Yeah, Chaos has no chance against Astra Militarum here. They lack armor units. The infantry just can't really match the vehicle build. We're fighting with a disadvantage. Especially when there is heavy artillery with a large blast in the back. It's all demoralizing. The Khorne's berserkers are fearless, and I mean it's only Khorne berserkers that are fearless here, but they're really in bad spot here. Yeah, man, you can't believe the Astra Militarum was AFK for over 80 turns, and all of a sudden, hold on. I need to build Manufactorum. And they did it. Build Manufactorum. They built another one, and the Basilisk started arriving, discovered sentinels, and all of a sudden everybody become endangered species. Oh man, doesn't look good for the Space Marines here, but they might send help. Yeah, it does not look good. Those Battle Wagons are not easy to kill. I don't see much movement there. They need a couple of Terminators here. Man, look at this, man. They can't even kill Scout Sentinels. They're gonna accumulate so much experience here that we're gonna have an unstoppable army. Primaris Psyker. There's one Lord Commissar there. I need to take this danger series for repairs. They're basically just rotating units when they need to, and then they repair them. They have like 3 times the firepower here than the Chaos. Chaos is just gonna get destroyed here. What's a Spectator game? Well, when you're spectating the AI. Doesn't look good here. I mean, Terminator. Why are they not going back? But in Warhammer 2 is just auto-resolve. Here actually you see the tactical moves. Not the same. I'll be surprised if the Space Marines defend their city. They sure have enough. Is that launcher anti-armor or blast? Rocket launcher, armor penetration. Orc weapons don't have good accuracy, but they do have a lot of weapons. The Obliterator may do some damage here. Is that, what is that in the back? Warp Talons? Oh no, actually Chaos Space Marines. They're starting to produce Hawks. But still, there's way too many Basilisks. Way too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Basilisks. Yeah, the Chaos is there. Call this in Malekith, his buzzes with 3.7. It's pretty pathetic to see Chaos with it, that puny army. I mean, they have no anti-armor there. They can't really call the Obliterators anti-armor because they use a flamer. 50-50, you know. It's a crazy. It's probably at this point larger than the Orc army, this Marine army, but they're not really moving it fast enough. The Orcs have the advantage in the attack there. See that Obliterator attacking there. Ooh, they actually nearly killed that unit. Pretty good. The Flamer on the Obliterator is actually good against Scout Sentinels because the Scout Sentinels are open topped, and the Flaming does good damage on that. I love how it says here some vehicles have only a little armor, making them more vulnerable to damage because of their lightweight construction. What the hell? What is this? 7 armor, little armor? It's almost as much as a tank. They do have the extra vehicle armor, but 7 is still bullshit for light armor. 7 is solid armor. Another Manufactorum. Let's see what they have. 3 Manufactorums. They're building another Manufactorum. Look at that ore, 60. What the fuck? What the fuck? Who balanced this shit? They have plus 64 ore per turn, and they already spam this many vehicles. Why even get gear on the Aston Militarum heroes? Just use edicts and stomp everybody. That is brutal. And these guys are AFK and doing nothings. Like, they nearly got handled by the wildlife, and all of a sudden 80 turns later they start producing units and just this. It's almost like the AI is coded with Aston Militarum just AFK, builds up resource, and then you know, wakes up. You need to try that strategy. No exploration, just build up. It's medium, Buffoon. Normal. This is sickening, man. You can reason with however you want, but my favorite faction makes me a little sick. That's just stupid. That's not balanced at all. You can reason however you want. Factions are better early game, mid game. Maps like this are always gonna get late game. Look at the orcs. This is how the orcs do. They try to stomp you and they build the cities close. I mean, I have to say, I like what I see here with the orcs. This feel orky. This feel orky. Gork and Mork would be proud. But Space Marines are coming home, defend the city. It looks like the orcs are gonna get stomped in this case. Too many Terminators. It's a combination of mech guns, war buggies, battle wagons, mechs, devcopters, and Daka jets. But mainly mech guns, cause they, just soak damage, while the mechs are actually maintaining the other units. The Obliterator got wrecked already. The amount of artillery here is just crazy. I mean, what can men do against this shit? What can Chaos do? Look at the amount of cannons here. That's all you need, man. Just blow them up. The infantry armies are extremely weak to this. I mean, they're in the forest and shit and still getting destroyed. Talking about a basilisk. The Chaos has some issues right now. I mean, clearly, volcanic area, ore field, and they're building food buildings on penalty terrain. And infantry instead of vehicles. There's clearly some issues with the Chaos AI. Food, energy, food. Food, energy, and influence. Look at the amount of ore they have. They're living in rich territory with ore field. Crazy ore output here, and they're not even using it. Bad code. Bad code. There's a lot of skulls appeared. How we not see a lot of skulls? Where is he? Was it appeared or disappeared? Oh, we'll see. We'll hear it. Oh, it's spawned next to the Space Marine army. Feels bad, man. Oh, Space Marines about to get deleted. Lord of Skulls spawned next to their army. That's the strongest unit in the game. RIP for the Space Marine army. And they're getting attacked by the orcs at the same time. They just pretty much went bankrupt. What the hell is that? It's a big mechanical demon of corn. I'll show it. I guess, you know, you can't really say it's a Titan thing, but it's pretty much look like it's a Titan. If it says it can chop legs of Titans in a single blow. With the strongest melee attack in the game. Strongest melee attack in the game. You know what that makes me wonder? What if you use Ichor Blood against a Lord of Skulls? Will the Lord of Skulls one-shot itself? Huh. Maybe. It's interesting, but you lose your Chaos Lord. I guess if you're desperate. There was actually a post in the forum about it. Really? What did it say? Maybe Lord of the Skulls should have a weaker melee attack but more health. Because that attack is absurd and his health pool is not very impressive. So, Lord of Skulls, it's a big mechanical demon. It has a big gun, has a cannon that shoots boiling blood, and has a big ass cleaver. There is actually a demon inside of it, a bloodthirster. We're gonna see bloodthirsters in Warhammer 3. So it's basically a one-man army. That is really hard to kill. You need some serious range firepower. A guy did a thing with Ichor Blood and didn't get a quest completion for the buff after it killed itself. It's neutral. It comes to kill people. It's what you call a super heavy. You know, some of the biggest war machines in the Warhammer universe. So it's a one-man army. It has a melee weapon that just kills everything. It has a regeneration and all kinds of abilities. And it's spawned in the middle of the Space Marine army. You can see the gray units. Wildlife means planet people, or you know, neutrals. They have no alignment. They basically fight everybody that has a color. Maybe the Terminators can do something to it. This is looking bad for the Space Marines now. Their economy has been crushed. They failed to build up as they were spamming, because they got invaded, and now everything went dark. They're losing population and don't get any resources. This might be the end for the Space Marines. No energy, no buildings, no resources. And a Lord of Skulls as well. They're dead. They're dead. Possibly. I mean, the orcs have had some losses here. Yes, we have a Spectator game that I started off stream a few days ago. One of each faction on a large map, on normal, and I'm looking at how they perform and what they do. The Acorns are in the north. The Tyranids got destroyed by the orcs early. They were here. Get deleted. The other game of orcs is just ridiculous. And they're required to constantly fight. They can't just sit back like the Astra Militarum. Tyranids are one of the disappointments in this game. They have like 3 or 4 usable units and everything else is trash. Oh man. They did some damage here. They're gonna run out of Terminators before they kill this thing. Their morale is still looking good. Lictors, yeah, they're one of their better units, because if I'm not mistaken, they have stealth, they don't trigger Overwatch, and their stats are pretty good. What's it called? Infiltrate, stealth, one is damage reduction, one is doesn't trigger Overwatch. I mean, the Hive Tyrant is pretty good. Zone Trop is pretty good. And Space Marines also lost their health artifact. Now Necrons have damage and health artifact. They have to pull back from that fight there. It is so stupid how much resource outputs the Astronaut Tunnel gets. Look at that ore output. These edicts are busted. Why even bother getting gear or extra heroes? Just use edicts. Really bad luck for the Space Marines. They could have been doing very good this game. Man, their city got wrecked. They went up bankrupt with the resources. One thing I don't understand, why other factions don't have 4-range weapons or more. More factions need to have artillery weapons. You're telling me in this sci-fi setting, more factions don't have long-range weapons? Where the hell's the artillery of other factions? It's a big imbalance on the game. The melee units are so crap compared to the range ones, and they don't even give the proper damage to melee units. It's like, it looks to me like Tyranids start with really bad stats, and they're expected to upgrade several technologies just to get decent stats. What the fuck is the purpose of the technology if they start with shit stats? They need to raise stats on the melee units, on the Tyranids, like across the table. And technologies technologies with different weapons and modifications, mutations, whatever they call it, should make the Tyranids the best melee fighters. It's like, what the hell, man? What the hell? They're getting bullied by range and they're not even good in melee. People will give you solutions. Oh, just spam 2 types of units, you'll be good. That's a broken faction, man. It's like I would say that the Dark Elves in Warhammer are so bad that you only have to run one unit type, like Shades. Everything else doesn't work. When the nearly most of the Dark Elf units are viable, you don't even have to use their top units. A faction has to have units like that, not only two capable units, 3 capable units. That's another thing, cause it's 1 unit per tile, and it's big carpets of doom engaging. The range has ridiculous advantage because of this. But the melee units have to have their advantage as well. And the cover and the surprise is not enough. But first, above everything else, please balance the Scout Sentinels. No Hunter-Killer missiles for Scout Sentinels. That shit is broken. It's one of the most broken things ever. I mean, how do people play in multiplayer? Let's say, the worst example here. Let's say Space Marines play against Astra Militarum, and gets to the point where they're actually trying to, gain ground on each side, and maybe one side pushes more the other side, and the game, gets to the stage of tier 10. There's definitely lines on the sides. The Space Marines may be hiding in the forest cities, or the other way around. And then you get to the stage when there are the Astra Militarum just spam Scout Sentinels, and from 10 range just start sniping the main city. The Scout Sentinel having Hunter-Killer missiles is broken and it needs to go. I don't know how the developers don't understand this. I don't care about any justification or reasoning. It's bad for the game and abusable in a bad way. The Hunter-Killer missiles have to go from this unit. Because, a Basilisk having a Hunter-Killer missile is fine because it will fire 1. And Scout Sentinels, the cheapest vehicle of the Astra Militarum, should not have Hunter-Killer missiles because there are 2 vehicles in the unit and they'll fire 2 Hunter-Killer missiles. So you're telling me a Scout Sentinel can carry a Hunter-Killer missile and do double the damage on a Hunter-Killer missile compared to a Baneblade? With that reasoning, Baneblade should fire 10 Hunter-Killer missiles. Hunter-Killer missiles have to go from Scout Sentinels. It's broken. We don't want Astra Militarum to have 20 Scout Sentinels in the back shooting Hunter-Killer missiles that should get unfair advantage. Costs. There's no such thing for the Astra Militarum residents. They have the most broken economy in the game with those edicts. They get their shit going, they have like endless resources. Look what they have, this faction. They have edicts. They use influence to just buff 33% ore production in the city for 10 turns. 40 influence is not even much. They can do the same for the energy, research and the food. And then for the loyalty on the tier 10. Stuff like this on big cities are busted. So their city's gonna have crazy outputs. Scout Sentinels is there to scout, fight in the early game, use its mobile ability and armor, fight over some infantry units. It's basically a unit that is for scouting later on. has nice move through cover. It has the scout ability, and it should not really gain ridiculous stuff like hunter kill missiles. Because the cheapest unit should not have it. It's not bad for the game. It's not balanced. A 40 ore unit has 2 ore upkeep. They can make 50 of this and not even feel a dent in their income. Now imagine like 3 rows of scout sentinels here, every 10 turns firing so much damage that nobody can even survive. It just creates an unfair advantage. Their economy and late game is already unfair advantage compared to most other faction. They can have this as well. If they want long range, they can use Basilisk and other vehicles to fire 100 kilo missile. So not third city yet for the Chaos. Very strange. Chaos is just getting slowly destroyed by the Astra Militarum. They're in a really bad situation. How can Chaos even compete if they don't try to get Venom Crawlers or Defilers? They can't. I mean, what you see here already is something the Chaos can never handle unless they get those units, I said. And even with those units, it's still not gonna be in their favor. What's the reason for the Basilisk range? You mean the 6 range? Well, it's their defensive playstyle. They're supposed to be a long range artillery. You know, Basilisk is fine in the game, but maybe it should cost 4. 3 seems too low. 3 seems low for a Basilisk. Maybe it should cost 4. I think it's fine with this, but other factions need artillery as well. You can't just give long range artillery to one faction and another faction. Where is the 4+ range units for other factions? Wow, the Space Marines are actually recovering slowly. I mean, their city in such a bad situation, it's just they're at the stage where they're just gonna lose everything. It's gone. Because nothing is working without the. They might need to recover a little bit of energy there, and they don't even have. They might not even have the population in some time. Yeah, the Chaos is getting stomped. And the best thing is the Astra Militarum just using two units, 2 different type of units. If you don't count the AFK units in the back. Oh, they got a Demon Prince. Was it recruited? It was recruited. Feels bad for the Space Marines here. Feels bad. They got wrecked, man. This is such a handicap they won't be able to recover. They brought a lot of scouts, 54 health. Lost most of their units though. They might bring that city down. A lot of scouts messed them up. Oh, that sounds rough, Emerald Dragon. Demon Princess early. It's crazy how the Aston Mataran didn't even had anything in first 8 turns. They're just literally AFKing. Those two fortresses don't see the yellow skulls. The city might survive now. At this point, it's gonna be between Aston Militarum and the Necrons. I mean, they have the most broken in the late game. Ooh, the Necrons came out of nowhere. And the Astra Militarum is engaged on the other side. What will happen here? Oh, the Necrons might do it now. They jumped on their city hard there. They don't have any serious damage here though. Track Praetorians are in the back. I mean, it's a big army here. Unless they start going home, they might lose the city. I don't know, man. The Necrons might win this one. I'll be surprised if Space Marines recover. They failed to restore York City. York City can heal really fast. The Imperial Guard army is way too far. Right now it's trashy, Emerald Dragon. I mean, look at this. They started in a volcanic area and they do not even use ore at all. Volcanic area next to ore field, and they build food buildings on negative full tiles and infantry. It's embarrassing, really. Bad code. Chaos could have dominated this game if they went with the order units. Dominated. Look at this. 5 renderers. 7 renderers. No sign of any vehicles. Really bad. Well, they don't need to fix it. Oh man, the Necrons might destroy this. There's so many Tomb Blades around. If they have influence, they might destroy that. 321 influence. Ooh. These guys need to go home. They're gonna lose the city. The Necrons also have a mobile hull projector and old one artifact, which means they have 10% more health and 10% more damage in all their units. This gives them an advantage for sure. One turn its Orc is already 32 health on. Terminators are gonna do good here in these forests. We still have several Terminators. Tarak Praetorians getting close to the city. Those 2 Tarak Praetorians will destroy the city. Oh man, the Aston Mataram is deep shit here. So much for their rapid rise to power when they're gonna get destroyed like this. They had no defense. Necrons stopped fighting the Space Marines and made a turn on the Aston Mataram. They need to go home. I don't think they're gonna come home on time. The city's gonna go down. Well, GoldenEye is free for all. That's how it works. Free for all works. Oh, the Space Marines are recovering. Unbelievable. The 2 Terminators is gonna do good here. Level 5 Terminators. Yeah, that's too much for the Orcs. Demoralized Orcs as well. They fire Power Fist and Storm Bolters. Close Combat Mastery, Kraken Bolts. And they're specializing in Terminators. Oh man, Necron's gonna end the Astra Militarum. Oh my god. They just built an obelisk. They just built an obelisk. Okay, Necron's gonna win this game. It's like Tomb Blades and infantry all this time, and out of nowhere they build an obelisk. It looks like they were waiting for technology. Yeah, Necrons win. Necrons win. There's no way anybody's gonna stop Necrons at this point. 10% damage, 10% health. They're about to end their main competitor. Obelisk is way too much. Like, nobody has even close to Obelisk right now. So the second city has 3 temples. The main city has 2 temples. And look at this. They have tomb blades unlocked from the temple. And they just went and researched the obelisk. They ignored every other vehicle. You guys familiar with this super heavy, tanky, devastating units? These units get levels, they just delete everything. They're slow though, that's the downside, slow. So they might be vulnerable to basilisk fire. But Astra Militarum is about to get destroyed. This army was pretty nice, but the Necrons attacked their base. Happened pretty sudden. It looks like they all went infantry. I mean, it makes sense to go infantry focus with the Necrons in the beginning, because the units are just solid. And you need the summoning core anyways. I mean, look at all these tomb blades here. It's because of all these tomb blades they actually arrived at that city and sent everything else. I'm betting if they didn't get these tomb blades, they would have not arrived at this city. The Imperial Guard is hitting bottom. Any of these piles get hit 0, they're done for. And they were doing so well, and overextended with that army. You can't go way that far. They didn't explore anything on the left side. I guess that's the downside of the early game. They were just greedy, building up, and now exploring. They didn't know the Necrons were on the left. The Necrons have good outputs here. Plenty of ore, plenty of energy. And they can even Necroderm repair with influence. Yeah, the biggest weakness of Imperial Guard is their morale. You kill one of those big bombers on their big aircraft. If they fail to cycle out damage units, and you manage to build kill a big unit in one turn, they lose so much morale that you're gonna get a couple more kills in the next round, and then just broken morale. That happened in the last game with the Necrons. They look so powerful, but we got a couple of kills and everything crumbled. So yeah, morale is definitely their weakness. Man, it's pretty much with the same faction, Emerald Dragon. When you kill a big one, they're gonna lose morale. But Imperial Guard will lose way more because they don't have good morale values like the Necrons. I mean, Obelisk starts with 12 morale. Their unit even on higher levels don't even have 12. Yeah, that's pretty good when you do something like this. It looks like the Necrons is gonna win this game. This is a big deal. They got lucky with all these tomb blades. That's the end. That's over. Imperial Guard is history. They have a big army, but I don't think they can recover from losing a capital. It's a lot of Necrons here. An obelisk is on the way. Let's see their outputs here. They recovered a little. They recovered. Look at all that ore. Necrons will easily win this one, I feel, now that they can get obelisks. Yeah, it's on medium. I want to see how it works, yeah, behaves, and you know, how effective are they when they don't have the bonuses. I feel like the different factions will play out differently just because of the bonuses. The bonuses makes the shitty starts less penalizing. I mean, they still have one city there. Can you imagine Astra Militarum actually winning? Actually winning after losing the capital. Hey Kari, glad you're enjoying yourself. I'm gonna be doing more of this on hard difficulties. This is just the first. Hey Tinder. This corner is not cleared as a mobile hull projector for health. The center is almost cleared. The orcs have forgot about one defiler here. And one ore field here. I think I just swallowed a mosquito. I mean, at least I got rid of him. At least I got rid of him. I mean, they recovered requisitions. Holy shit. Man, the Necrons are gonna murder people. Those obelisks might be slow, but they will get more. They're getting an elation barge too. I mean, elation barge is no help against the Astra Militarum, but it could be useful against the Chaos. Holy shit, the size of that army after they lose the capital. Oh, we have to wait. Look at this, man. The resources are still looking good. They just lost their production buildings. 2 labor cores. Just need juice. Savannah here for juice. That's a lot of basilisks. And look at all these experienced scout sentinels. That's a lot of Necrons. Orcs are getting their health back. Orcs have this thing called Green Tide plus 50% healing rate, something the creators certainly have forgot to put in their Warhammer game. So they have the least downtime of all factions, except maybe Necrons, when it comes to healing the troops. Drag Praetorians have 600 penetration, so they're pretty good at fighting in the city and the vehicles. But they still have 5 soldiers, makes them weak to the Basilisk. It's hilarious how easily a Basilisk will destroy Drag Praetorians. Yeah, the Necrons with the healing should be fine here. Can I zoom in on the Space Marine? Sure. Let me just get to the end turn. So they have a unit of Terminators here. Very intimidating unit. I might say the best units the Space Marines have. There are some Devastators here. We have some tactical Space Marines. More Terminators. Assault Space Marines. And that's it. No, nothing else. They don't even have to take for the apothecaries. No heroes right now. They got the launch pads technology. Let's see the resources here. Building an obelisk is very expensive, 240 energy, so they need to wait quite a bit. Getting a couple of obelisks running, and most importantly, even more important, getting them to the battlefield, because they have 2 movement. But this is immense firepower. Tesla spheres with a crazy amount of attacks. They do have damage bonus and health bonus. This is gonna be almost unkillable. A lot of these units here they have are Tomb Blades, which are very squishy. They just have a good firepower at short range. But still, these are Necrons. Living metal and reanimation particles, they have regeneration. But the Basilisks could kill half of this easily early. I find the Terminators and the Dreadnought definitely some of the coolest looking unit in the game. And you can feel how good they look, which is, you know, strange. You're just missing that awesome voice of Dreadnought. Oh man, the Necrons get that obelisk here. Awesome time is history. This is their chance to win the game. The Chaos will have no chance against the Necrons, and the Orcs and the Space Marines will be fighting each other for the rest of the game. So the Necrons are in the best position here. They just need to get rid of Awesome Militarum and they can do whatever. Yeah. Necrons will easily win now from this point. Maybe the Chaos actually starts recruiting some vehicles. I mean, they need Venom Crawlers and Defilers to be competitive with the rest of these factions. The Havocs cannot do so much because they're so squishy. They do have the firepower, but they're just like Devastators. They get one shot by a lot of units. Okay, the Basilisk is starting to fire. Track Praetorians actually taking a lot of damage. They have to sort out their resource issues here before they can get Manufactorums. They lost the city where they had an ore field, but they lost most of their resources there. Ore field is an outpost that gives extra ore, flat ore to the outputs, and adjacent tiles have extra ore production. One might say the most powerful outpost in the game. Let's see what these guys have here. Still recruiting nonsense. It's crazy they build a second city so early and yet they don't care about building another city. If you're gonna play with shitty units like this, you better have 3 full screens of them, otherwise what the hell. Okay, they build an Annihilation Barge here, which is an anti-infantry vehicle. It's much more affordable than an Obelisk, but it's can easily get destroyed. Has excellent firepower against infantry. So it looks like they're starting to build annihilation barges. 26 health and 8 armor. They do have 10% more health. The obelisk is getting closer and closer. This thing gets closer, it's gonna start killing all the units. What are we got here? A Spectator game. It's a game I started a few days ago, spectating the AIs, how they do. We have 6 AIs, one of each faction, on a large map with my standard settings that I play, and they have no bonuses, so it's on medium, to see how they perform, what they do, and who wins. The Tyranids got destroyed first by the Orcs. Orcs have been doing pretty good. Space Marines have been doing pretty good until they got hit by a lot of skulls. The Necrons have this game though. They are bindling huge advantage. Raise the capital of the Astra Militarum. Astra Militarum was AFK for 80 turns and they managed to build this army after having like nothing for 80 turns. 2 guardsmen and 1 tech priest. While Chaos has pretty much been stagnating just to be able to battle defeat the wildlife, which they spawn in a volcanic area and still get produce shitty infantry instead of vehicles. In Gladius, it's important that these artifacts, control of these artifacts is important. Usually the faction that controls most of these artifacts have the most advantage, and the Necrons control 1 for damage and 1 for health, so all their units give 10% more health and 10% more damage, and they can even get more of them. So since the Necrons have these 2 and they have the best position on the map in a highly volcanic area, early expansion, I think the Necrons have this game because of that. Space Marines gonna be stuck fighting the Orcs for the probably the rest of their game here, and they did had once a really huge army, but a lot of skulls killed half of them. Orcs lost their second city to a single unit of obliterators. They built a third city close to their offense and pretty much lost most of their units. It looks like there's still no sign of strong units here. No sign. They have a lot of ore and a lot of energy. You get more Daka jets. They revised back to level 5 though, since most of the army got killed. Very strange this game with Astra Militarum, I'll repeat again, 80 turns AFK, and they've been mainly building resource buildings, like almost like they were afraid to explore, and then just spam a lot of resources, accumulate a lot of ore, and then bam, full production, lots of scout sentinels and basilisks, and big push with this Carpet of Doom. This might actually be enough to fight this off. These are mainly Tomb Blades and expendable infantry. There's just maybe 3 good units here. Obelisk being, of course, the main threat, one of the strongest units. You can say, not counting the heroes, the second strongest unit of the Necrons. Only one being strong, the Tesseract Vault, which is basically an upgraded Obelisk. Man, the Basilisks are just murdering them. They're getting deleted. The Tyranids got destroyed early by the Orcs. It was swift and brutal, and they just disappeared. They were here. It was a slaughter, not even a fight. Most of the Tyranids units were fighting around this area. They cleared the neutrals, they fought a little bit of chaos, and the Orcs just moved in, murdered everything. Orcs are a little bit behind now. Their low tier swarm strategy no longer works because it's no longer swarm. They are not veteran units, and they still continue to produce these units, which will no longer work at this point in the game. The Terminators can handle them, Devastators will handle them, and they're no match for the Necrons either. Chaos looks like in a really bad position with the AI code. They're recruiting shit that makes no sense. Starting in an area that has a lot of ore production, and they still build farms at the penalty of the tiles. If the tiles are volcanic, which means they're bad for food, and they still build the food buildings and went to mass infantry, and they could have dominated this game if they only had the know-how to build the vehicle buildings and research Venom Crawl and Defiler. Just love how the Necrons switched to the right side here. Man, this position is just too good. They have the best infrastructure, the best resources, and the best artifacts. But this is still Astra Militarum. The Earthshaker cannons, they fell many armies. The Basilisks are slowly getting better and better. There's an accuracy aura here, bring it down. They managed to kill that Obelisks. Man, doesn't look good for the Necrons here. I can't believe this shit, man, but they're winning. They are winning. They can't even produce any more units right now. Look at the amount of artillery in the back. It's sickening, man. Sickening but glorious. The Basilisk tank. The best thing invented since sliced bread. I think they say it like that. Looks like Chaos is gonna clear this corner. They might get extra health here. The Chaos are pretty much just waiting to get slaughtered. Weak army. They might be switching to more quality now. They have Hawks here with their autocannons. There's a Chaos Lord here. The usual Chaos Cultists. They have one Demon Prince. Unit of Obliterators. More Cultists. There's a Warpsmith here. The Warpsmith got a buff in a recent patch. It's even better now. Master Possessions here. They just don't have enough units. This many units, it's zero threat to... look at how many artillery units. The artillery just cannot handle Earthshaker cannon. The large blast of this weapon, it just murders them. So if the Chaos decides to go strategy like this, it definitely should be in green area like this, where there's plenty of food, no ore, build 3-4 cities, and make sure they have 3 full screens of infantry, so they can actually at least make sure the enemy runs out of ammo if they can kill them. The Space Marines were in a bad shape, but they're recovering now. Plenty of requisitions. Lacking population right now. Looks like most of the buildings are up and running. They can get Terminators in 3 turns. Terminators possibly their best unit, and currently something the Orcs cannot handle. Actually, Wizard, yoo-hoo! It's a Spectator game. It's this esports. Oh man. Your comments did not fail to amaze. Man, this is just unreal. They lost capital here. That obelisk is shaken, man. He's shaking his pajamas. Shaken units lose accuracy and take more damage. When it's yellow, the morale bar. This is the left bar is health, the right bar is morale. The Necrons have high morale, so they not really get affected that much. But when they're taking losses like this, even Necrons shaking their pajamas. Look at that Mon obelisk. It's broken. Broken. It's gonna take serious damage. This is sickening how effective those basilisks are. And you know what's the worst thing? The worst thing, this unit just costs 3 ore. What the hell? One obelisk is 12 ore, you get 4 basilisks for that price. 3 ore. Make this shit cost 4, 5 even. Can't have a basilisk cost 3 ore. That's insane. They're slowly getting experience increasing their morale, their damage on their weapons and their health. And even if they take damage, they are a single tank, so they can't lose any damage. This obelisk is broken. It will take now 33% more damage and have 33% less accuracy. The accuracy drops down to 2. They cannot drop below 2, and means the weapons will be less effective. You can see accuracy is 5.4, 45%. So not gonna do a lot of damage with this penalty. And if they continue to lose units, these units will not be able to cover morale and will slowly get killed. Chief says, so now that the In Control passed away, rest in peace, you might be able to take his place as the commander. Come on, man. Don't say such things. Ellich is practicing for his geek casting Gladius a dream hack. I mean, it's fun to look what the AI does, get inside the head of the AI, find out how many brain cells there are in there. Can't believe it, man. The Astra no way, man. The Astra Militarum is gonna recover after losing capital. That is just sick. And not in a good way. How can they justify this shit? G-baited. I guess I should put a Spectre AI game. All this Basilisk firing makes me sick. Doomsday Arc. What's their resources at? 21 ore, 95 energy, man. This is crazy. Plenty of energy to keep building and plenty of ore to get more units. Man, they got slapped here. They got slapped and they're on the retreat. Look at all this artillery here. It's crazy. Wonder if they're gonna try to rebuild their city there. That is crazy. They need more ore, I guess. The orcs don't have really good units here. Mainly Megans. These are the Megans. It's a anti-air unit with a tractor cannon. Anti-air, you know, with my fingers going left and right. It's basically the cheap unit to soak damage, and has 3 range. Just we have to admit what it is. Just cheap unit that soaks damage and that doesn't die easily. I am personally a little bit disappointed with the anti-air options this game, especially when you're facing Astra Militarum. One time I played a unit with the Space Marines and I just switched all hunters. Hunters, which is the anti-air tank of the Astra on the Space Marines, and I still got murdered by Duck Jets. The problem is with the anti-air units, they do slightly more damage against the air because of more accuracy usually, but they just get killed all the same. So the anti-air units need to do more damage. You don't want to build units that feed the enemy. It's like Basilisk is a perfect unit because it does not feed the enemy. It's a very expensive unit, 240 energy and 12 upkeep, but it will never feed the enemy. If you get sending Basilisk in, you're sending it to kill people. Unlike the Tomb Blades, Annihilation Barges, Necron Warriors, even Doomsday Arcs, this all will feed the enemy. The enemy will get more experience. These numbers, level 6, level 5, level 3. They'll restore the morale easier, and you don't want to feed the enemy. I find the anti-air units to feed the enemy. The only difference here is the Meg Guns are early game unit. It gets produced in the Megbits yard here. Pretty cheap unit, and it has way too much toughness for what it is. And so, because it's early game, that's why they're spamming it. It's too effective. Of course, turns 178, and we're getting to the point where it's no longer any good. So that's why the orcs are now falling behind. They still maintain high VAR, but they don't have enough units.
You see that shit? Holy shit! What the hell?
One might say the most effective air unit in the game is the Obelisk, but it still requires you to put that Obelisk closer in harm's way. But the Necrons have a Crypt Tech, which gives Chronometron, gives 60% damage reduction to Obelisk. Obelisk has high health. Crypt can heal every 3 turns. The Obelisk has Living Metal regeneration, heals every turn. Plus, you can pump Influence into it to heal it even faster. So it's different. So it's kind of weird. I wish the units like a Hunter, like a Hydra, would just be maybe a little bit tankier, if not better at killing air units. You don't see Astra Militarum spamming Hydras. Hydra has decent damage, it's cheap, but you have to research it. Why get research Hydra where you can just spam Scout Sentinels and the Basilisks? It's just a waste of research. I had more than one game with Astra Militarum when I didn't even needed to research Hydra. Hey Ruyo, you did all your chores this week. Thank you for giving support. Appreciate the tier 3. Love you too. So, guys, help me out here. Is it only me, or is the Hunter and the Hydra a little bit too weak, both toughness and damage wise? And then you have the orcs with their mech guns, which are too effective, and they're not even being used for the air. The Hydra, the anti-air units should just get more damage against air, you know. But they get killed by the air faster than they kill air, which is hilarious. Why even use a Hydra, to be honest? Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe if the Hunter had more range and the Hydra had more range against air. I mean, that would work. Like, why build Hydra when you can build a Lemon Rust Bell tank? Makes no sense to me. I mean, you can see soon when they get back Manufactorum, they didn't even research Hydra probably. What about a Baneblade? Well, Baneblade is your solution to everything. It has so much weaponry and toughness that it will destroy anything. It is one of the best units in the game. Baneblade is a tier 10 unit. It's very expensive to produce as well. Baneblade does not disappoint. It can by itself hold an area of the map and make the enemy cry. Hacking Roman, what do you want to know? This is a Spectator AI game on large map, one of each faction. It's between the AIs on medium difficulty, my usual map settings. I just want to see, how the AI works, behaves, and who they gonna be fighting and what they're gonna be recruiting with, and what they're gonna be fighting with. Yeah, we are a Spectator here. There are Necrons here. Red player, blue player is the Space Marines, green are the Orcs. This color of red is the Chaos, and this is Astra Militarum. Necrons are in the strongest position. Astra Militarum and Space Marines are a little bit in a rough position here. The Orcs are outdated, obsolete with their setup, so they're the most vulnerable, but nobody's doing anything about it. While Astra Militarum has the biggest firepower right now. I have the animation speed on 65%, so we can see what's going on. Otherwise, it might go too fast. This area of map is still not cleared, man. Chaos is useless. Demon Prince, more like a peasant prince, am I right? What the hell are they doing to Chaos, man? When are we gonna see strong Chaos? And they get their Rhino nerfed. The Chaos get their Rhino nerfed before the AI ever even recruited their first Rhino. They will never know, chat, never, the strength of the Rhinos and the early game glory of the Chaos vehicles. Feels bad, man. Pepe hands. Okay, looks like the Terminator's Devastator is gonna take this. It's kind of a bit hilarious they're using a Storm Bolter here instead of going into melee with a Power Fist and the Storm Bolter. I mean, they could have just moved here and they get rid of the city. That was lack of brain cells there, I guess. The Orcs currently has no solution to the Terminators, but the solution is coming. It's Vorboss and his pet his attack squeak. Hard-hitting Orc hero, but can be a bit squishy. Even can die to Terminators. It's possible. The main issue right now that I find with the Chaos is their code. Their code is all messed up. It's like a spaghetti ball. You can see the Chaos here in a volcanic area, yet they build food buildings in an area where there is penalty to food outputs, and they spam infantry, which requires quite a bit of food and energy. Combination more food and energy. So they have crazy amount of ore and they're not doing anything about it. The Greenskins had a very strong opening, destroyed the Tyranids, but their army is obsolete. The Chaos is slowly upping their infantry, but you see this shit here? They make infantry cry. Tanks with large blast weapons like the Basilisk. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at this ore output. They're not even building the ore stuff. No ore production at all. building farms in a landscape that does not support farming. Be smart. Bad code. Bad code. This is very sad. I need to fix this. The Chaos could have been dominating this game with this shit. Let's see what's going on with the Space Marines. They're lacking population. I guess they need a population building here. This growth is gonna decrease. They have a lot of requisitions. I don't know why they're not building new units. Orcs, they build their war boss, but still behind on the proper military for this amount. That's a war boss here. It's hard. It's hard, but it doesn't have good damage mitigation. Has low armor, still hero protection. It could get killed by the Terminators. What's the influence situation with Space Marines? They recovered. Okay. They have one research here. Recav Leaf, Influence, or Field. Talking about the Force of Redemption. When the Space Marines drop their Force of Redemption next to outpost, they get the benefit for the city, the percentage benefit. That's how they work without, you know, more than one city. And this thing is a very tanky with a twinning last cannon, but it does get obsolete in defense and weaponry in pretty quick as well. Man, these outputs are very impressive. 119 energy. The Necrons use energy to build stuff because they awake stuff. They can even start working on another obelisk. The obelisks are slow. They're slow, but they're really hard to kill. Lots of health, a lot of firepower. If they lose an obelisk, it's a big penalty because they take a while to get to the battlefield. They're expensive to build, 240 energy. They lost the capital here, the Astra Militarum, but they're slowly recovering here. Building a Cult Mechanicus, they might actually go for a city here. They do not have the ore output like they used to have. They lost the capital with an ore field. Big hit, but all this artillery is still holding. This shit will not be able to hold forever. Might get obsolete as the Necrons get better units. Even these units that are coming now here, it's not gonna be as easy to kill as the Chaos Cultists were before. They're starting to recruit better units. Not that much more, you know, cultist spam. I mean, they could get to a position where they have a lot of obliterators and they can get close. And Orcs just lost the city, man. Orcs are not in a good spot. Not in a good spot. The Lord of Skulls decimated the Space Marine army. They lost a lot of infrastructure in the capital. And the Space Marines were able to recover. The Orcs just have no answers to Terminators. They have no veteran units. These are still their early game. Mech guns, bellow wagons. There's not even a mech in behind to repair shit. Just mainly mech guns, which are anti-air, unreasonable tanky units. Just cost-effective orc trash, which is obsolete by this point. The Basilisk will actually survive. If the Astra Militarum gets flanked by the Chaos here, while they're fighting the Necrons, they might actually lose a couple of vehicles. They do get closer with the Scout Cannons and they do see what is ahead, so the Basilisks keep firing. They have 10% health, but the Necrons have 10% health and 10% damage. And they might get sandwiched here. Necrons are in a really strong position here. They have very good two cities. They're not trying to expand anymore. They're not even building population buildings anymore for some reason, which is weird. Can't even explain it why. It's almost like they forgot to build more shelters. And they do have technology for it. for the extra population. Not an extra loss to increase population either. Building another obelisk. They have not expanded again. Look at that slot there next to the ore field. This is like a wet dream here. Wet dream, and they're ignoring it. No expansion and no more population increase in the cities. They're stagnating with these two cities. Yeah, there's such a nice spot there, and they're not doing anything about it. There's Terminators here, assault Space Marines, some tacticals. Devastators get killed pretty fast. It's kind of sad how ridiculously unbalanced that unit is. It does too much damage and it takes too much damage. That just doesn't feel right for a unit of Space Marines. What is the Space Marines built to survive rather than built to destroy? They're not like the Necrons. That Devastator unit looks like a Necron unit. Feels like Necron unit. Three Doomsday Arcs and they're about to start firing. One of them might actually get destroyed this turn. Yeah, it's getting killed. There's gonna be a loss here. Well, yes, some of their units are, but the Devastator unit doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's too squishy and does too much damage. That balance, like the rest of their units, it doesn't fit. I wish we had the old Devastators back. This current Devastator doesn't feel right. They could have just kept the health but removed the weapon. Same shit with the Hawks. I smell a disgusting multiplayer balance and logic. Melt the bombs, huh? Yeah, the orcs are not equipped to deal with these units. I mean, that Warboss hits hard, but still only killed one Terminator. There is no such thing as squish. There is Lauren. It's the Devastator Space Marines. They're squishy, and I don't like to see that. Rather they do less damage. They have some kind of special last cannons than actually being that squishy. It makes no sense that they're so squishy. There are 3 of them in the unit, and they get killed so fast by a lot of all kinds of weapons. Hawks, their Chaos variant, pretty much the same stuff, and I don't like it. Devastators are equipped to deal with the heavy stuff, yet they cannot survive the heavy stuff. Is this kind of like... what's the logic behind that? I mean, if you want to send a special team, they can just fuck up shit and defeat anything and win every battle. You send the Terminators, right? But what's then the point of the Devastators? Just make everybody a Terminator. Their snipers are not supposed to be tanky. Yeah, but they're not tanky at all, Shuriken. They're just squishy. They just get one shot most of the time. You can always see them on almost near death. 3 soldiers in the unit and 9 health. Nine health on a unit that has no damage reduction. It just doesn't feel right for a Space Marine unit. Too much firepower and too squishy. I'm happy when they survive with one entity. I mean, when you're gonna be fighting the Space Marines or you're gonna be fighting the Chaos, it's like you ignore everything. You just kill the Devastators, you just kill the Havocs, and the others one is just gonna be like a grinder. And usually you're gonna win because they lose their overwhelming damage on a super squish unit. They just get instant deleted. And the games just comes to a point where you just keep building these units and they keep getting killed. So why build them in the first place? Maybe like to fake a retreat and they punish them with an Overwatch. Like, I can see that. I can see that. As a unit that you have to rely on as the main source of damage when they get killed so fast, it just doesn't feel right for a Space Marine unit. Even if they are snipers with big glass cannons, 9 health. When they used to have 12. Oh man, Astra Militarum is killing it here. Well, yeah, that makes sense, Shagard, that makes sense. I guess as long as you don't put them in the harm's way and the enemy don't have long range weapons, you should be fine. Of course, you can also use them in a nasty Overwatch or flank the enemy. Well, it's a war on a planetary scale, so most of the army has to be mobilized. That's why you have transports and you put stuff in transports. But mainly it's gonna be about vehicles and the aircraft, not really about infantry. They lost the Doomsday Arcs here, and the amount of firepower they have there, and they don't know, chat. They don't know. It's like they're just poking here, begging to get destroyed. We need to count those basilisks. That's a scary amount of basilisks. The Chaos is slowly building up their infantry army again. They're about to get a second obelisk, and they're building a third obelisk. Those 3 obelisks can make a push. $11 basilisks. That's a lot of firepower. It takes a while to bring down an obelisk, even with that many basilisks. And they're slowly losing sentinels. They don't have any more sentinels. They need to send a sentinel ahead to use the scout ability so they can see them, so the basilisks can continue to just pummel them from distance. They do not have any unit production here. Yeah, just take percentage series. So they lost too many scout sentinels here. Soon the basilisks will start to get killed. They have no unit production. Obelisk is being produced, another obelisk is being produced on the main city. And they can pretty much produce an obelisk, put a queue production of obelisk every 2 turns. They cannot really keep it up with the war, but it's close. Yeah, the Necrons are gonna take over here again. They're building scrap sheds right now. These guys have recovered. Definitely recovered. Going back to take the whole projector. The orcs just cannot deal with the Terminators. They have no units that can kill Terminators right now. The Warboss can do some damage, but Terminators have that Terminator armor reduction, 33%, with highest infantry armor as well. And the Warboss takes much more damage in the turn. If this Chaos army clears the corner and they go for the Asta Militarum, Militarum might be in a sandwich here. And they're getting more obliterators. The main issue is these guys cannot produce any units right now. And any units that gets in sight of this army is just gonna get destroyed by the Basilisks. There are not Basilisks here to put an Obelisk to half health in a single turn. If they have to send the Basilisks to scout ahead and not the Scout Sentinels, they're gonna start losing that army. Lord of Skulls appeared. Where is it? It's here. Okay, should be fine here. Anyways, boys, that's gonna be it for today. We'll continue this some more time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.